South Africa's presidency, alongside the United Nations Secretary General, say the escalation is a grave threat to international peace and security, warning that the use of force risks triggering events no one can control.
Experience has repeatedly demonstrated that there can be no military solution to fundamentally political problems that can and should be resolved diplomatically. Military confrontation has never delivered sustainable peace, nor has it addressed the legitimate grievances that underlie conflict. Long-term peace and stability can only be achieved through inclusive dialogue and a genuine commitment to justice and coexistence. President Ramaphosa therefore reiterates his call for intensified diplomatic efforts to de-escalate tensions and create space for continued meaningful negotiations.
I deeply regret that this opportunity of diplomacy has been squandered. Mr. President, third, the region and the world need a way out now. I call for de-escalation and an immediate cessation of hostilities. The alternative is a potential wider conflict with grave consequences for civilians and regional stability.
Meanwhile, analysts remain divided. Some argue Iran's missile retaliation, especially where civilians are harmed, violates international law. Others say the initial US-Israeli operation itself raises serious legal and humanitarian concerns, with civilians at risk as fighting spreads.
Looking at the situation, I think the world has spoken that this is an unjust war provocation. And it has resulted in a violation of international law, human rights abuse. More than 200 civilians have been killed in Iran, as well as in Israel. And therefore, I think on part of Israel and United States, it is in an unprovoked, what is considered as a war of choice, paralyzing the international multilateral structures.
I think it's very clear that the strike itself, the initial strike, is unlawful as a matter of international law. There is a right of self-defense under international law, but the right of self-defense is only in response to an armed attack. You cannot respond in what is called preventative self-defense. So essentially, the case outlined by the US and Israel is to say that there may be a threat posed in the future, and regardless of the factual accuracy of that assessment, that's not a basis to use force in the present. The only time you can act in self-defense is either if you are directly attacked or in anticipation of an immediate attack, right? So if the missiles are on their way or the attack is about to be launched, obviously you can act in anticipation, but you can't act in a preventive way, the same way that the war in Iraq was unlawful.
The crisis is also hitting global travel and markets. Airspace closures across the region have triggered widespread cancellations and diversions, with aviation data showing thousands of flights affected as airlines reroute to avoid conflict zones. Tha Doletsaba, SABC News, Auckland Park, Johannesburg.